from imposter syndrome?
Uh, yes.
Yes.
Like I'd probably say that most business owners at one point or another have done. Um, but it's one of those funny things. It's a term that seems bandied around a lot. I don't know if a lot of people actually know what they mean by imposter syndrome. So if I said that to you, Lisa, what would you say it means to you?
I would say it means that I am not being myself, or I'm pretending to be someone else, or it feels like I'm not myself. That's kind
Mm,
of how I see it. And I have suffered from this as well. Often in sort of a room full of people that are quite important, and I'm sitting there going, I don't belong here. That's
yeah.
often how I experienced it. But the way I see it is that you feel like you're acting differently, or people are seeing you in a different way. So it's interesting. I've got two perspectives on it.
Actually, you're really good. It's really well done because a lot of people don't understand that, but
Mhm.
that a lot of imposter syndrome is because of the fact that we live externally. We live by other people's perception of what things should be. We
Mm.
always say, well, they expect me to be this. This is how I should act here. This is what I should be doing. And then we start portraying into that. And you're right, because you lose part of yourself by doing that. And then that's when the feelings of, I'm not good enough, or what if nobody buys from me? What if they don't like me? All that starts to come in, but it actually starts because of all the external factors that we're taking on board.
Yeah, I find often it's about also, am I good enough to be doing what I'm doing? So I had this quite early on when, so you're trying to run a business and you're not quite sure what you're doing, and you're sort of feeling your way through, and you look at other people and go, I don't think I should be running a business. I don't think I fit here. But the thing that makes you unique is why you should be running a business. And that's often
Mm.
what your brain can't process, that it is a process. And so
Yeah,
you sort of have these moments of, I don't think I should be doing
yes.
this.
And I think that's what you asked me the question earlier. That was something I think I felt when I first started that. And I was in a room of other hypnotherapists, and I'd only just qualified, and they were all asking me questions. And it was only when the call finished and I was talking to one of them that I knew quite well, and she went, "You done really well." I went, "I felt really awkward because these are all the experienced hypnotherapists, been doing it for years. I only qualified 3 weeks ago." She went, "But they didn't know that." And I
Ah,
was like,
right.
"Ah." Um, so because I didn't know it, the imposter syndrome that I was feeling, they couldn't have put it onto me because they were like, "Oh, yeah, I like what he's writing. I like what he did." They just had seen things that I'd done in a couple of videos and assumed that I'd been there for a long time. So the imposter syndrome was all down to me because my assumptions are what they would think is, well, what does he really know? Why is he saying this? Why is he? I thought they were testing me. That's what my perception was. This was a test because all these questions were flying at me, and then it was like, "Thank you so much for that. That's really gave me good ideas." And I'm like, I don't know what I just did. But
Yeah.
and it's one of those things that I've realized working with other clients, I've told them that, and they went, that's how I feel at networking.
Mm.
That's what they feel. That's their imposter syndrome. Normally, the ones that I've been speaking to, that's when it first pops its head up, is when they have to go out and become visible and start telling people what they do. And exactly you just said there, they start saying, I shouldn't be in this room. These are all proper business
Yeah.
people. And I start laughing. They go, it's not funny. I mean, but in some ways it is. What's a proper business person?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, like the ones in the networking event, do you know half of them in there probably feel the exact same way as you do right now? They're
Mm.
sitting going, look at all these business people. And they're like, well, why? And you said that, Louisa, there. It's because you've got something unique that they see that you don't always see because you're part of it every single day. But they suddenly hear you speak, or they see the way you carry yourself, or the way you're looking around the room, and you're putting this persona on trying to act like something. And
Mm.
it's like they don't need that. They just need to see the real you.
Yeah. I want to talk about fake it till you make it. This phrase drives me mad, and it was bandied around in what the noughties as
Mm,
the slogan for business. You know, even the slogan for life. Fake it till you make it. And I think we often talk about your authentic self.
yeah.
And the problem with faking it till you make it is you are trying to show that you don't know what you're doing, but you're pretending that you do.
Yes.
And I feel like that puts another layer of problems and anxiety on people who think that they have to prove themselves to other people. And
Hmm.
it's like this authentic self. And we talk about showing up as yourself. Mags is very much on this line of, be yourself.
Yeah,
But I find that there was this misconception about if I pretend that I'm something else, people are going to respect me more. It's a
mm,
lot of social media has this. So the people who have the private jets and all this sort of stuff, it's not genuine. But the problem is that people don't know that. And so they're
yeah,
looking at something going, oh, this is fantastic. Often companies go bust because they're faking that they've made it. They're faking that
yeah,
they've already got the money in the door, and often it's like the ducks gracefully sailing across the water, but the
mm,
fish are like that
yeah,
underneath.
underneath,
and
yeah.
and that's what it feels like. But I think the fake it till you make it seems to be coming back a little bit, and I'm very concerned by that. What's your thoughts on this?
I hate it. I hate the term to start with, fake it till you make it. Because you're right, I talk all the time about being authentic. It's so important to me as that even my philosophy and coaching starts with what we call blast. It starts with belief, but it finishes with truth.
Mm,
That's the T for it, is you need to be true to yourself if you want to attract the right people. You need to be true to what you're giving people so they know it's genuine, that they actually, right, this will work for me and take it. And I think this fake it thing, I gave an example with someone. They were telling me about this great guru that they'd been on where he gave them some great ideas. And I don't know how I'm going to do them. And I went, tell me his name. And I checked into this. I won't use his name because it wasn't fair on, but what he did was he hired a Ferrari for
mhm,
an hour, not even a day, an hour to get a photo shoot done.
mm,
And he went to a house that he'd always loved the look of,
mhm,
beautiful big house, and he stood outside and he just done a selfie thing and done in front of it, but put this out. But what he never actually did was he didn't state in any of the posts they were his. But the insinuation was there that he had made it and he's now got these because they were both in the picture with him. And I felt that was him trying to prove to people that I deserve to be in your company. I
mm,
deserve to be there because I've got all this. And it totally backfired on him because someone that knew him went on and said, well, he drives this little Corsa and it's banged up, but it's been there for years. And he doesn't live in that. He lives in a flat in a tenement block.
mm,
And so he was totally discredited by that. And he said, but I never said I had those things. No, but the insinuation was there. That
yeah.
you were showing people, you were faking that, try to let people believe you made it. But actually, what he was saying was really good, but people didn't listen to that. They were
Mm,
seeing the other side of it and going, oh no, I'm not ready for somebody like that. So actually, it backfired completely. And then when this person put it on social media that this wasn't true, that was him. It was totally discredited. And I think that's the problem when people try and get someone to fake it. There's always someone who knows them, and you cannot hide in social media. Someone will see something you put out. Or more importantly, the one thing it really is with this, clients, if you put something out there and you sound brilliant and everything's great, and then you sit in a one-on-one session with a discovery call, a consultation, whatever you want to call it, and this client sitting in their mind going, this is not the person that was on things I've just seen in social media. That ruins everything for you as well. So please, please, if anybody listening to this about that, don't fake it till you make it. Be authentic, be genuine, because that's what people relate to.
Yeah, we've got this problem in one of the businesses I'm working in, one of the projects, and um, the sales or the CEO, the sales guy, pitched an incredible plan, and we were looking at this going, okay, this is really impressive. They got contracted for the work, and then we're 6 months in, going, they don't know what they're doing,
Hmm.
and it was the problem was that he was very good at presenting
Yep,
but his team weren't good at delivering what he was trying to sell.
that's it. Hmm.
And that often happens as well, that you look at something and go, where did we go wrong? Like this was so good at the start. And often it's because this person has such a belief in themselves that they can sell this and all that. That's great. But the problem is the business isn't
Yeah,
aligned together. So you've got this mismatch between that belief system of that person that they can bring in the business. Wow, we've got all these new businesses coming in on board, great. But then delivery is the problem. So, it you sort of look at this and go, where did we go wrong? And the problem is you don't always see it until you're in it.
Yeah,
And it's another way of, it's not really imposter syndrome in that way, but I think it's also this misalignment between what you're presenting versus what you're delivering.
yeah,
And
and it is a sort of imposter syndrome, because the person normally delivering that is so worried about maybe that they can't do something right, that they make things bigger than it actually is.
mm,
You get a lot of people who say they're fantastic ideas people. They get all these great ideas, but they can't actually implement anything of it. They
mm,
start things, but always stop. And it's like you say to them, how many courses, I say to the client, like, how many courses have you signed up for? Or these, how many have you completed?
mm,
Well, there was that one. Well, yeah, and they get stuck, and it's because they sign up to something to believe in that I need this to be something, but then they actually found I didn't need any of that. I
mm,
just had to be me, and it's like the shiny object syndrome. A lot of people suffer imposter syndrome actually suffer with that because they think they need all those extra things to become the person they think they're supposed to be, when actually all they need to be is themselves, and that is enough to start. As long as they get the right foundations in business, start the foundations off, like setting up shop was all about that, making sure that people have the right foundations in the business. Once you have that, that brings you confidence, and imposter syndrome starts to disappear anyway, because you start to see how people relate to you. You start to see what you're producing. And sometimes you just need to step back for a second and go, actually, that is really good. They
mm.
can see it yourself, but it's because you're right, you're in it. Sometimes you don't see it. You need to be able to step out and look at the business as a whole and say, actually, I don't need all of that. I can do this. And that's the best part of getting someone over imposter syndrome, is when that thought, that little spark in their eye comes, and you know that's their mind telling them they can actually do this. They don't need to be something else.
Yeah, so that's I think what we're trying to say with this episode today is you can also, I mean, everyone suffers from it in some way. I
Hmm.
mean, no one is immune from this. One of the best singers I've ever heard has such a fear of failure, and it was, I've never heard more beautiful bass singing, but he just went, oh, I sort of get on stage and then worry that I'm going to fail. We're like, oh my God, and he was brilliant. And, and you get that feeling that you're not worthy of being there. And I think we want people to know that you do have support. When you stand up and try something, you do have support. And ask people to support you as well. If you feel like, you're struggling with imposter syndrome, or you're not sure if you're being seen like you should, ask someone to talk to you about it, and get their impression of what you're doing, and it can make such a difference to just aligning a little bit, and also helping you get through moments like that, because it's tough, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think that's important what you said. The imposter syndrome is nothing to fear. Imposter syndrome is actually just us protecting ourselves. It's our own mind protecting us by doing something. It's just doing it in the right way. And that's the thing is, be yourself right from the beginning. Build the business the right way. And imposter syndrome will always be something that sits there, but all it's actually getting you to do is this the right step for me? Should I actually be doing this? If you look at imposter syndrome that way, it actually becomes a trait that's good for you rather than something to be frightened of.